Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and I have another giveaway. And what I'm going to do, these stamps came in last year. Let me tell you the story about the stamps first. These stamps came in last year. Our vendor offered them to us, and we were excited to get them. The vendor had put on their website that they were like 6 by 8 or something to that effect in size. So, not being able to see them, that's what we put when we took the pre-order. We put 6 by 8. Well, when the stamps came in, the package may be 6 by 8 or 4 by 8, whatever, but the stamp is not, as you can see. But I had a couple of these left because I give the people that pre-ordered them the option to, you know, they could not take them and I would keep them. That was fine because that was kind of our fault because we didn't have them in. But they come from the UK, so, you know, it was a new stamp company. Anyway, so I found a couple of these yesterday when I was cleaning out a drawer. I found a couple of them left, and I decided that I would keep one for myself because I stamped this and I absolutely fell in love with it. I embossed it in gold, and I want you to look at the detail. And I'm not the best at embossing. As you can see, I got, you know, a line over here, that kind of thing. But to me, that is still beautiful. It's got so much detail. The color, I love the gold. And that's just on a white piece of cardstock. This is on acetate, and let's see if I can hold this where you can see that, maybe a little. Anyway, this is on acetate, and you can see, sorry about the glare, you can see how good that's stamped. And that's on an acetate piece, so that did pretty doggone good embossing. So I'm glad that I decided to keep one for myself, but I'm going to show you just how easily this stamp embosses. Now, it does not come mounted, as you can see, but all I did is I put a couple of removable pop dots behind it and just stuck it to my stamping pad like that. As you can see, they're under there. No biggie. But I think it embosses very, very well. Now, or stamps well, and embosses well. When you are stamping, if you'll put some little spongy piece of something behind what you're going to stamp on, this, I think this came out of some packaging. As you can see, it's that little foamy stuff. It's got just a little bit of give to it. You don't want anything that's got a lot of give, just a little bit of cushion. You'll get a much better impression when you're stamping. So I use these, like I said, I think this come off of packaging or whatever. I'm not real sure. I just put it behind what I'm going to stamp on and then put my paper down. Now, since this is such a detailed stamp, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my powder tool. And all this is an EK Success powder tool, and it's just got powder in it. And you can make one of these. You don't have to buy one. You can make one with just some baby powder and a little bit of cloth. Just as long as you get some powder on your paper, that keeps the embossing powder from going everywhere. Because if you're like me, around here we have lots of static. And so when I emboss, lots of times the embossing powder goes all over the place. And you know, this actually smells good. It smells like a perfumed powder. I like to smell things, as you can tell. Okay, maybe I got that powdered up enough. So we're going to take our Versamark. Now, when you're going to emboss, you need to use a Versamark ink or an ink that's like Versamark. This is a watermark stamp pad, and it's just a sticky, clear ink is what it is. That's what you have to be able to emboss with. It's something that has to be sticky, that stays wet for a while. So I'm going to put some of this on, and I just re-ink this, so hopefully it will be pretty good. Just make sure that I get all of the little pieces and parts. Okay. And now I'm going to make sure that I kind of wipe it off of the edges, because with this not being mounted, it is kind of thin and I do get it on the edges. So like I said, I'm not a great stamper. Okay, and I'm just going to take it straight down to the paper, and I'm going to hold it there for a little while and press on it. Give it a little bit of time. Okay, and then pick straight up, and you won't be able to see an image there right now, but if you hold on just a second, we'll put some embossing powder on there, and you should be able to see. Okay, I think we'll just go with the gold first, and then we may do it in silver and red. And you just sprinkle your embossing powder all over. And don't worry, you're not going to waste this, because we're going to put the excess right back in the bottle. And this is the Wow embossing powder, and this is what we had on our item of the week clearance this past week. This is the embossing powder, so if you pick that up at the great deal that we had it, then you're good. And what I do is I just kind of give it a shake around just so it'll cover all of those little parts, and then I give it a bounce off. And okay, if I've got it anywhere where I don't want it, I just take a little brush, brush it off. This is not exactly a little brush, but, and I'm not going to worry about those tiny, tiny little pieces, because, I mean, it's supposed to be snow in here anyway, so to me that looks good. Okay, there is it with the embossing powder on it. You see how good that picked up? Very cute. And then I use an old file folder, and I just take my file folder and I've tried pouring this straight back into my bottle of embossing powder, and it doesn't work. So I just take it and I shake it off into here. I end up getting it everywhere when I just try to pour it back in. I shake it off in here, and then this has a little spout with a little plug in there. And so all I do then is I take my little spout out, and I put my little plug in there, and then I just pour it back in there. And instead of doing a lot of shaking, I take my brush and push it down. Because if I shake, I get it everywhere. I'm telling you. I make messes with this stuff. But I like messes when I'm crafting. Okay. See, I still made a mess. But anyway, we got most all of it back in there, and that's okay with me. Alright, pull that off. And now we will emboss this. And what I do is I have a little glass, or I guess this is not glass, it's probably plexiglass, but I put that down on my mat, because if you just try to heat directly on this mat, it will buckle on you. And then I don't use my Tim Holtz, because it doesn't put a lot of heat directly, and when you're embossing, you need a lot of heat directly onto the image. So I just use my embossing heat tool by Paper Studios. And you wait until it gets hot. When it gets hot, then you're ready to go. And just kind of move it around. And I apologize for the noise, but this one is loud. Kind of move it around until you see the embossing powder changing colors. Okay, think that's it. Let's see. Yeah. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Will that not look pretty on the front of a card? And yes, this will fit on a regular card. This is, let's see what size this is. This looks to be about a, I can't even see these. This is pitiful. Okay, looks to be maybe 2.5, almost 3 by about 3.5 or 3 3/4. So that would fit perfectly on the front of one of your cards. Will that not be pretty on there? Beautiful. I absolutely am in love with it. A Christmas card, and then just put, you know, just stamp underneath Merry Christmas. Love it. So I do have one to give away. Alright, we're gonna try it in the red and just see what it looks like. I think it's gonna look much prettier in this color, but for curiosity's sake, we'll try it in the other colors. Okay, I need to do my flower tool, my powder tool. You can tell I've been talking a lot today. My mouth is not cooperating with me. Just put your powder all over where you're going to stamp. That just breaks down the static. And then we're going to use our little stamp mat, and we're going to stamp straight down and hold it there for a little while. Okay, and now let's try the red and see what that looks like. And yes, I do still have a little gold on here, but I don't mind. This is Lindy's, and this is called Candy Cane Red. Candy Cane Red Gold, so that'll work perfectly. Now this is a much finer embossing powder. So we will see how this works, if it works as well. And I shake it around a little bit. And then just dust it off. And I got some lumps. I'm not sure why. There we go. Another lump. Ooh, I like that too. Look at that. That's pretty. Okay, I'm just going to take a few of these off. I'm not going to do much because, like I said, it's snowing here, so we'll leave the snow on there. And I will put that back in just a few minutes. I hope I don't forget. If I forget, I'm going to spill it everywhere. We're going to close this one up, though, because I will spill that. Okay, my heat tool again, so close your ears or turn your computer down. Make sure it's hot, then go directly to your sheet. Don't hold it in one spot too long because it will burn the paper and the embossing powder. Just move it around until you see the embossing powder start to turn really shiny. And that's it. She's done. Ooh. Oh, I love that too. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. I am in love with the stamp. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do the silver. This is called Silver Moon. I'm just going to see what the silver looks like. So what we're going to do is, I'll use these on front of cards, so not wasting. I don't think I have a stamp that just says Merry Christmas. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. If I do, I'll stamp that below there and it'll be done. Okay, our stamp mat. And just anything that's cushiony you can use as your stamp mat. Doesn't have to be that packaging. I've saw people use just a notebook because they have a little cushion to them. Just anything that has that little bit of cush. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the edges. Just so I don't, ooh, I think I wiped too much off right there. Okay, that looks good. Stamp straight down. Hold it. And I'm going to get another file folder. Shake it around just a little bit. Make sure it gets all over, and then dump the excess. And let's see if I got any where I didn't want it. Yeah, a little bit. I know that's hard for you to see right now, but you'll be able to see it in just a minute. As soon as I get this one, I don't know if I didn't get enough powder on there or what. It's going to have a little bit more around it, but that's okay. It's still going to be pretty. Okay, I'll set this aside, and hopefully I don't forget to add it back to my bottle. And we're going to put our shield back down. And we're going to heat again, so hold your ears, turn your computer down. Oh, that's pretty. That's just a very subtle silver, just almost like a shadow. Love that. I love all three of them. What do you think? Gorgeous. Okay, we're going to use, if I can find it. Okay. Let's stamp the red one on a piece of this acetate and see what we get. Now the acetate is a little harder to stamp on because it does have lots and lots of static. So really powder it up good. And no, this powder will not hurt your stamp pad. It will not hurt your embossing powder. All it does is takes out the static off of your page. A lot of it. Around here you can't get all the static out because there's so much humidity in the air. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but to me it does. Okay. And I take my stamp pad to my stamp and not the other way around. That way you can see your stamp pad. You can see your stamp and make sure that you're getting everything inked up. Okay. And now we're going to take it straight down. Hold it just for a little bit, pressing on it. Kind of even pressure. And pick it straight up. And now we're going to, and I'm just going to use this file folder that has the red already on there. See if I can do this without spilling it. If I spill it, y'all are going to laugh at me. I really powdered that up. I hope it's going to stick well. Ooh, there's where my lumps are coming from. And that's okay, because I should have just shook it up before I started, but that's okay. Just mash the lumps out. Just smash them out of there. Okay, now I'm going to shake it up a little bit, make sure I got it on every part, and then just dust it off. Oh man, this is sticking to everything. I don't know if this one's going to work as well. Yeah, it doesn't look too great, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, even with the powder on there, it's still stuck to everything. This is just not the climate to do this in, I think, for at least on acetate. Okay, took part of that Christmas tree off. But this will get you the general idea, maybe. Anyway, so as you can see, it's not going to be as pretty, but we'll see what it looks like when we heat it up. Now in your acetate, you cannot hold it directly on it and heat. It will burn your acetate and make it warp really bad, which is going to warp a little bit anyway, but it will straighten out. Just keep it moving. Okay, I didn't get as nice of an impression as I did with the gold. As you can see, on the gold on the acetate did well. The red, I think it's just too fine. See, it messed up. It's just a big glob. I think it was too fine for this, the acetate. So that one may be just a flop, which is okay. At least we know now. When it's a really, really fine embossing powder and you have an image that's really detailed, it doesn't work that well. And it looks like I didn't heat it all the way. Let's see what happens if I heat it a little more. Some of the spots are still looking dull. Okay, that made it look a little better, but it's still pretty messy. So if you're using this stamp on acetate, just make sure that you use a little bit thicker of an embossing powder like this, like the gold. It's a little bit thicker. This is really, really fine. It's just almost like a powder, because the gold did turn out like this, which is very pretty. Very detailed, very pretty. Okay, so what I want you to do in order to be able to be entered to win the stamp is I need you to leave a comment below letting me know which color you think is the best in the stamping. We'll call this the silver, the red, and the gold. Again, there's the gold. And I know it's hard to see. There you go. See a little better that way. There's the red. And then there is the silver moon. Silver. So, let me know which one you think looks the best. Which one you would like to stamp with if you won this stamp. This gold, the silver, or the red. So let me know. Talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye-bye.